Yeah, I was just wiggling up here. Okay. All right. Welcome back after our lunch break here to the Decatur County Hog Show. We're joined here by Vincent Trenkamp,
Jacob Kinker.
Jacob Kinker. Sorry.
Okay.
Where's I thought Vincent was coming next.
No, I think this is my time slot.
Okay. All right. Well, we're just going to rotate through, I guess, 10-year members and
Yep.
everybody. I thought Vincent was coming next, but Jacob Kinker's joining me.
Yep.
And we might grab a couple ex-4-H members, too. Sydney Swartridge also talked about coming and joining us. But we're getting ready to start the purebred Barrows. And we're going to start with the lightweight Berkshire males here. Brady Rubel has a 209-pound crossbred or Berkshire male, and Benjamin Bonner has a 221-pound Berkshire male here in the first class. So, Jacob, you're a 10-year 4-H member. Did you show swine all 10 years?
Yep, all 10 years.
All 10 years. Did you? What other projects did you participate in?
That's it, just swine.
Just swine.
Yep.
10 years in swine, and that's it.
That's all I got.
Nice. How many pieces of livestock did you bring us here today?
Just one this year, but we brought up to 4 in the past for me. So
For just you yourself has brought 4.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Why'd you?
To get back here and get into the bear side of things, and we'll keep things moving along and give everybody a fair chance as we go along. Like I said earlier, I'm a reactionary, so we won't take any extra time as we go, and yet at the exact same time try to give each kiddo a good round of our time here. We're going to lead off with the young man's barrow over there on the other side. A barrow that's a little cleaner about his total makeup. He has more balance when you get off to the side. When you get directly up on top of that one, he's got more turn to his loin edge. He takes a long stride. Really youthful about his parents. Very well presented. Young man coming out in second. He's got a bold-bladed one that's got a lot of body cavity. I like to call these type the meat and potatoes type of hogs. With body and mass working about him. Not as much look and style about him to move higher within this pair. Congratulations to this pair of young men.
All right. So our first class of Berkshires, Brady Rubel wins the class, and Benjamin Bonner has second. We're going to lead straight into the second class of Berkshire males. We have 4 entries: Christina Fogg, Eleanor Kinker, Emma Evans, and Lance Wechter. All right. So you got 10 years in 4-H. Did you do FFA in high school?
I did not. Actually, I did 1 year, freshman year. And then my schedule just didn't fit it, and I had to take an ag class, and I couldn't fit it in. So.
Okay. Are you going to school? What's your plan now that you're graduating high school?
I'm going to IU for nursing.
IU for nursing. Look, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a specific kind of nursing you want to do, or just?
Not right now, but I think I'll figure that out once I get into the program.
Gotcha. I didn't know if you wanted to be an ER nurse. Or you gonna
I think maybe surgery right now.
Surgery out. Look at you. That's fun. That's aggressive, but I like it.
Yeah,
hey.
I like that stuff.
Yeah. No. Cool. No. You haven't showed yet today though?
Nope. I show Pole and China class.
Okay. So you're gonna be with me for a little bit, but we're gonna be pretty quick here. I hope they do find me another person, because we're rotating through people here pretty quickly.
Yeah, he told me Lance was going to come in next after he shows.
Oh, okay. Lance Wechter?
Lance Nobby.
Oh, Lance Nobby.
Yeah.
He's also a 10-year 4-H member.
Yeah.
So
he shows Chester Whites, and then he said he'd be in here. So.
Cool. Oh, I guess I don't know why I thought Vincent was now, because he's got a Chester too.
Yeah.
That'd have been awfully quick turnaround.
Yep.
But no. What else do you want to let everybody know, I guess, about 4-H, your experience with it? And
I think it's a great thing to get into. A lot of learning that goes with it, a lot of time, a lot of hard work. I think it taught me a lot about determination and accountability. I can't just slack off on things. I got to make sure things get done with my animals, or else it's not going to come out to the result you want it to be. So
right. Yeah, it's pretty important that they get fed every day. I like to eat, so I'm sure they're probably in the same boat.
I don't think they'd be too good if they didn't. So
yeah, no, I agree. Oh, Chris is just trying to help this little girl get her pig up and running. And it'll be a cousin, right?
She's my sister, younger
Oh,
sister.
sister.
Yep.
Okay. She's how long has she been?
Here in the center of the ring, one that puts together some athleticism, some length and extension in front of his blade, muscularity working down his top, and a big old hip. I like this one quite well. Wish the young lady in green could get this one going just a little better and see where we really stack up. I think that's the next sound square one out here. When you read these angles, and that one's big old forearm, still big hip working in him. Not quite as attractive through his head and neck as what we have in our class winner. The one in third is going to be the bigger outline one the young lady has in white. A hug that you change coming right at you. I like his stature in terms of being elevated to length of body a little better. Excuse me. Like that hog's muscularity down his top. He's cleaner in the lower third of his skeleton, not quite carrying quite as much bark as what we have in a young man's bear that we're going to conclude with. His bear is really big about his body cavity. Like to strengthen his front pastern and raise that one up front just a little bit, but he's really got a big old forearm, still got some muscle and rib about him. Congratulations, this set of exhibitors.
Results of Class 18 Berkshire Barrows. First, Emma Evans. Second, Eleanor Kinker. Third, Christina Fogg. And fourth, Lance Wechter. Now ready for Class 19 Berkshire Barrows. There are two in the class, Grady Harrison and Elmer Rennekamp.
Well, we just got a notification that we haven't been recording our sound. Hold on. Let me double check. We're having all sorts of technical difficulties today.
Pair of bears that you like extremely well. One's presented just a little to another degree higher out here, and real tall fronted. I like that hog. Front third extremely well. Really comes out of his barrel blade back into a really good barrel. Very shapely down his top. Refused to change him, relax his hind feet ever so slightly, but that one wins this class pretty handily for me. The bear that's in second, still a good hog. He honestly is better off of his rear foot and pastern than our class winner, but that's where it stops. His rear foot and pastern. Not quite as fresh in his appearance, but he's still a big-bladed hog that has some muscularity working about him. Congratulations again to this pair of exhibitors.
Results of Class 9 Berkshire Barrows. First, Grady Harrison. Second, Elmer Rennekamp. Now ready for Class 20 Berkshire Barrows. There's only one in the class, Knox Templeton. Can be working the Chester White Barrows up to the holding area. Chester White Barrows up to the holding area.
Okay. All right. I don't know what the problem was. I must have forgot to hit the record button. I don't know exactly what was happening. So we've got one barrel left of the four classes.
This one's a fast-growing hog that actually looks like he did it in a timely fashion. This hog's got some youthfulness about his head and neck. I don't read this hog as being extreme and on any one thing. Just a good hog here. He's a big boy, though, in terms of weight. He looks like he could be that. I mean, that hog's got a great big wide forearm. He's really big through his center cage. Great big back, and there's a butterfly sitting in that thing. I don't know if you can see it from the outside. That thing's got a lot of muscle working down his hip or down his back. He still has a big hip in him. He's still pretty athletic and square about his kind. I like this one quite well. Congratulations, this young man.
Okay, so Knox Templeton wins that last class of Berkshire males. So our first class winner was Brady Rubel. Our second class winner was Emma Evans. And our third class winner was Grady Harrison, with that last class being Knox Templeton. So we're going to bring all four of those males back into the ring to show for champion Berkshire male. It looked like in our show that we got quite a few more males than we did female entries.
I noticed that too.
So, I don't know. It might take Mr.
Well-
Danner a little bit longer to sort through these males than it did the females, unless he goes as quick as he is here through the Berks, and he looks like he's jumping on the mic.
Yeah.
4 really good bears in their own right, and there again, as we talked about putting totals together earlier and putting the most positives to the top, I think that it gets close out here between 3 of them, to be honest with you. That's the 3 closest to me. Amongst those 3, though, is one that's got more presence about him. In a breeding gilt show, he needs to be longer and square through his hip and needs to relax his rear feet. Today in this bear show, the front 2/3 of him outweighs the others. This young man's got our champion.
Champion Berkshire Bear goes to Grady Harrison.
Drop back in that
Almarina
second
Camp
place.
is eligible to show for reserve champion Berkshire Bear. Congratulations to Grady Harrison, champion Berkshire Bear.
We bring out the meat and potatoes bear there in the second hole, and it still remains between that other pair that I talked about there, that when we consider them for champion. I'll just be honest, when we can make them big and still keep them good, I think that's a great thing. Young man out of the last class is going to be a reserve.
Reserve champion shown by Knox Templeton.
Okay, looks like we're gonna go with the Chester Whites with Lance Nobby, Maxwell Galk, and Vincent Trenkamp. Those bears weigh between 228 and 259. So I've had so I started with Blaine Wagner, then Olivia Krieger and Doug, which Doug's more of he's a dad, not a 4-H member, but so I've had 2 other 10-year members. I guess maybe tell me, did you have a favorite Barra or gilt in the last 10 years? I didn't ask anybody else this, but I'm gonna put you
I
up
don't think
to it.
so particularly.
don't-
Nothing that
Nothing
catches my mind.
There's
Yeah.
there's no pig in the last 10 years that you've had that's like, man, I wish I had one like that every year.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I'm not as big into this as other people here. I kind of do it more for the fun, and so nothing that, really catches my eye that I
Gotcha.
really.
Didn't have a personality of a pig that you were like, man, that thing is just had a
No.
personality.
No, not too much.
Okay, cool. Well, everybody's got their own reason for doing things, and if you do it just for the fun of doing it, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
No. So for guys that didn't watch the gilt show, our judge is Chris Danner from Chalmers, Indiana.
Itself very easily for this judge. A young man over here to my left is going to be the class winner. This is a durable one that's stout about his feature, has some muscularity working about him. Comes out of the hole and goes away from you pretty square there within himself. Not quite as attractive as our second place hog, and yet at the exact same time, I like his down-eared breed characteristic extremely well. That's a stout, heavy-duty one that needs to win the class. Going to go second here with the young man's hog. It's presented extremely well, a little more upright-eared, but where I'd really like to change him is the fact that I'd like to strengthen his front passer and relax, put that extra set into his rear foot just a little bit. But he needs to go second here within this drive for me. Better looking from a standpoint of balance, more correct in his top line. Real nice barrow to go in second. We're going to conclude with one that's got a lot of real good things, just not as balanced for this judge. When we get off to the side of him is what we have in that other pair. Real good trio of Chesters. Congratulations to those exhibitors.
All right, so your champion Chester goes to Maxwell Galk. Your reserve goes to Vincent Trenkamp, and third to Lance Nobby. We're getting ready to start the Duroc show. We've got a total of 4 head in this first and 4 in the second, so we got 8 8 Duroc males here in the show. Our first class consists of Hudson Muckerhide, Lance Wechter, Mason Morris, and Grady Harrison. Those bears weigh between 266 and 277. Chris Danners from Chalmers, Indiana. He's doing a pretty nice job. He talked, hopefully it recorded and is on that first stint, but I did a little interview with him starting out with before we started the show and just talked about his background in agriculture and in the livestock, the show stock industry specifically. He's got two kids and works fairly closely with both of them. Actually, Blake works for Purple Power and Danner Livestock, placing some pigs for them and buying boars and buying sows and raising pigs. And they run about 120 to 140 sows, and they've got, I think, 40 boars in the boar barn right now. So definitely keeping them busy for sure. Chris is definitely one of those guys who doesn't dilly-dally too much around when he's judging livestock. He likes to tell you what he likes and pick the ones he does like, and maybe give a few critiques on the ones he doesn't particularly fall in love with, and then likes to move on to the next class. Jacob, it looks like you're getting hot swapped out of here, and we're gonna talk to Lance Nobby, another 10-year member, real quick, and we'll ask him a few questions and figure out what he's gonna do and what he's liked about 10 years in 4-H, and maybe see if we can get some more answers out of him than Jacob. So, Lance, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us what you've done in 4-H and what your plans are now that you've graduated high school and headed off to college.
Yeah, I'm Lance Nobby, and I've showed pigs 10 years at 4-H. Yeah, I really enjoy it. It's really fun just going out there and meeting new friends and going out and just showing an animal that I really enjoy and have gotten really close to. And after high school, I just graduated from North Decatur, and I'm going to Ball State.
Oh, you're going to go to Ball State. What are you going to study?
Studying nursing.
Studying nursing. Okay, so we've got 2 nurses in a row. Do you have a specific place in nursing that you like? Jacob's like, I think I want to. Right now, he's thinking he wants to do surgery.
Okay.
Actually, be a surgeon.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I've looked a little bit into it, and I mostly like the emergency department. I'm really interested in that, but I'm not sure. I'm not positive, but I just like seeing different things each day.
Okay, cool. We're gonna hop into first class of.
This is a good treat, or 4 really good red bears out here, and to be honest with you, all 4 of them have their own rights and places. Some real mass sitting within this particular group, and when you break them all down, the one that's the hardest to analyze is the best structured. He's the squarest. He's the most correct and most balanced. He's the hardest to look at because honestly, his skin and hair is the worst of the 4. And it's a shame because from that standpoint, and I don't know if you know what you got your hands on, young man. It's pretty good, but he needs to be better skin and hair. But other than that, he wins this class for this judge. He is your class winner. Where he beats our bear that's going to be in second. He's square and more correct through his hip and hind leg, and he's got more angulation up front. He literally comes at you with as much squareness as what we have. The bear going here in second. Awesome presentation of this bear. Love his head and neck carriage, but what I don't like about him is his shoulder sits a little forward. He becomes more upright in his shoulder for this judge. He wants to be too straight there, and then he wants to tuck and duck out of his hip and hind leg just a little bit. That's a rounder butted hog that has very unique pieces about him, and you gotta like that about him. But for me, he's too round and too straight to win above the bear that's a little lighter pigmented. The bear in third, we're going to go with the other dark pigmented because he's more balanced, he's more uniform. He's not as crusty at the top side of his neck. I'd like to clean both these bears up just a little bit, especially that bear at the lower third of his skeleton. That is one big-legged red barrow. I appreciate that about him. I want to clean the lower third of his body cavity up to make that one move higher, but I really appreciate his skeleton that he has working within him. The light pigmented hog here is very good as well. Not quite as durable in foot and bone as our class winner. Becomes a little more jammed up at his head and neck. Crustier about that neck shape. That's a muscular hog that still puts some athleticism about himself. He's square, he's correct. This is 4 really good red barrows. That's just how I've seen them. Congratulations. Let's put our hands together to these exhibitors, please.
All right, so your results for Class 22, the first class of Duroc males was first Mason Morris, second Grady Harrison, third Hudson Muckerhide, and fourth Lance Wechter. So we're going to do the second class of Duroc males. These weigh from 283 to 320. We have 4 entries: Michael Kolpinski, Colton Morris, Brad Krieger, and Graydon Wiseman. So did you take anything else in 4-H? Or
No, I just
10
did
year swine? 10 year
Yep.
swine? Okay. And you did do 10 years of swine, right?
Yeah, I did 10
okay.
years.
Yep.
Yes.
Cool. And you have, wait, you said you have 2 cousins that are still showing today?
Yeah, 2 are still showing. One's getting ready to show in this next class, Mick Reynolds. And then I have one showing in a later class as well.
Okay, cool. So, you live right by the hog stay at your grandpa's, right?
Yeah.
Are you one of the in charge of feeding and cleaning pens?
Oh, yeah. Just finished yesterday. There's about 2,000 head and come in yesterday in the middle of the day. And, of course, I was the one who had to sort all of them. In the scorching heat, it was not very fun.
That hog barn that your grandpa's got behind his house, so you're kind of in charge of that. Does any of your other cousins help with that?
Actually, Landon Nobby does most of it, and I just kind of help him when he needs it. But he's really in charge of it. But
Gotcha.
I help him a lot.
Kind of what I've seen his vehicle there a few times, so I was like, I'm curious which one of you two's kind of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's mostly taking it over.
Gotcha.
Which is good. He does a really good job with it.
Young man with the light blue shirt and short sleeves over there. That's the balanced hog here in the class. Very attractive in front of his blade. That's the advantage point. He's cleaner and slicker about the top side of his neck. Beyond that, we got 2 very heavy boned hogs that are still athletic. I seen that one more attractive and honestly a little darker pigment sometimes makes them extra easier to evaluate. I think that one's got a little more presence out here. Very tall shoulder, very neat look. Got a neat hip and hind leg working about him. Same with the bear that's coming in second, the young man with light blue long sleeves here. That thing's hip and hind legs very good. He's very square at the base of his chest. He gets more jammed up in his face and his neck. Gets a little more crusty there at the top side as well. If we could extend that out just a little bit, boy, it's very close because he's a very, very big-legged hog. I appreciate that about him. Going third here to the young man, the dark shirt on to my right. One that's a nickel stouter about his feature, one that's still very good. He's wanting to be a little tentative out of a front leg, but still think this hog's very, very good from a standpoint of balance and design. Like to fix that about him just a little bit, probably an injury coming off the trailer. The other one gets out here and kind of cats around him pretty easily. He's the frailest one of the 4, doesn't match his body to bone ratio for this judge. Still a good meat and potatoes type of hog. He's broad, he's deep, looks like he's growed extremely well. Very nice bearer here that would appreciate quite well.
All right, so your placings for the second class of Durocs are first place Brad Krieger, second Michael Kopinski, third Colt Morris, and fourth Graydon Wiseman. So we're going to bring probably the top 2 from both classes in to show for champion and reserve Duroc. So you've got out of the first class Mason Morris winning that class, and second place Grady Harrison, and then the second class Brad Krieger and Michael Kopinski. Actually have a pretty decent crowd today for the actual show. I'm a little surprised. Our hog numbers are pretty far down on what they've been in the past, but I still think there's quite a bit of quality out here in the barn. Let's see, Mason's going ahead and bringing his out. There's Brad's following him. How much weight differences? So there's about 16 pounds difference in them two Barrows in terms of weight. Brad's is the heavier of the two. I don't know if you can tell that on the camera. For the guys online, if anybody does have a issue with the camera angle or the volume of our mics, just somebody let my dad or myself know, and I'll get that changed.
This has been a good Red Bear show, and those of you that know me, I have a 33-year-old daughter that said, Daddy, I like red pigs when she started 4-H in 2000. Honestly, quit chewing because I couldn't afford to buy her Red Barrows, and there's a gentleman by the name of Kent Bratton that one year he wins 31 or 34 classes at the Indiana State Fair in the Gilton Barrow Show. That's pretty impressive. To buy a Red Bear from him cost $1,000. Back then, a can of chew cost about $3. 365 days a year. If I quit chewing, I can afford her Bear, right? It's amazing what parents give up for their kids. It was good for me, too, to be very honest with you, and I'll just be honest. Here's where I sit in life. If we're going to do something, we give it all we got. So many times the person that spent the most money wins. So many times that coach was favoritism to somebody. I think it comes down to how much we're willing to work at the house. I think skin, hair, presentation's a very, very big key. I think if you flip a coin, this pair's equal. There's one that did his homework at the house a little more. Congratulations, this young man.
Champion Duroc Barrow shown by Brad Krieger. Mike Kempinski is eligible to show for reserve.
We bring in that second place hog, and I'll just be honest with you, I thought there was 4 really good Red Barrows here for a county fair show. I don't know if I've seen a Red Barrow with as big a legs as what the young man just came out with. I'll just be honest with you, I'd like to change his pole just a little bit, but that one's so big-legged and so athletic. Maybe he should have had testicles at some point in time. He's the second best one. Congratulations.
All right, so your champion Duroc Barrow goes to Brad Krieger, and your reserve goes to Michael Kopinski. Both of those coming out of the bigger class. So we're gonna start the Hampshires. We got 2 classes of Hamps. The first class has 4, and the second class has 2. And Lance is gonna go ahead and leave us, and we're gonna be joined by Christina Fogg. She's also a 10-year 4-H member, and you showed swine all 10 years.
Yep,
all
10 years.
Okay. So did you take any other projects?
I took pencil drawing for like a couple years from like 3rd through 5th grade, and
that was it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got a few kids here in a row that were pretty much swine showmen exclusively.
Yeah.
So we've got 4 entries in this class. They weigh from 220 to 232. Cora McReynolds, Arden Muckerhide, Caden Legier, and Braxton Evans. So these will be your 4 of your 7 Hampshire males that will vie for champion Hampshire. So, Christina, you went to Greensburg, correct?
Yes.
Where are you going to college?
I'm going to Purdue to study accounting.
Accounting.
Yes.
Fun major.
Oh, yeah. I get that a lot.
Did you Greensburg have FFA the whole time you were there?
Yeah, I wasn't in FFA, though.
You weren't in FFA?
No, I was not.
Okay, so I guess do you have, in the last 10 years, Lance didn't and Jacob didn't, did you have a pig that stands out that, like, hey, this is my favorite pig I had all 10 years? Like, personality-wise, he could have been not the best presented hog, but, like, his personality was your favorite? Maybe he was the best hog you showed.
I don't remember a lot. I want to look through all of my mom's old pictures because I forget about a lot of the pigs.
You don't have one that just
I-
springs to mind when I say
Well, I really liked my Berkshire Barrow last year. It was, I got reserve champion Berkshire, and on it, and then I did decent in showmanship with it. So I would say that pig probably.
okay, little recency bias. You don't have one that's coming in from like your second or third
No,
year.
I
that
don't.
you're like,
I cannot remember those pigs really.
that's not that far back. It's not that far back. Oh, everybody remembers different stuff.
Yeah.
So, no. What do you think about the fair this year? Anything? You like any changes they've done to the barn? Surprised? Have you walked around the midway? Have you been in it?
Yeah, I've been here like all day the past couple of days. I don't know what changes specifically. I haven't really noticed a lot.
So we changed all the lights in here.
Oh,
So
wow.
if people don't know, I'm on 4-H council. Hold on, Chris is gonna let us know who the winners this class are.
See, we have different styles and types out here, and a couple of them that are a little darker pigmented, a couple of them that aren't, and yet when we get all said and done, we put positives together. I'm going to pick them still how I like them at the end of the day. I think the Toto's hog is honestly the young girl in the real colorful to my left, 124. That's the bold-bladed hog that's bigger in his skeleton, very sound in his structure. He's a nickel heavier structure than what is going to be our second place barrow. That one's length of hip, length of front end, and design from the side I like better than what we have. He's bolder through his forearm as well. Second's going to be the young man out here that's got another really attractive one. That one's really good in front of his blade. Come back to him. I'll just be honest, neither one will have much as a third place barrow when you come out of their blade and go back. Both of them are longer hipped, and that's a real advantage point for me. The barrow that's in third simply has to be longer hipped and longer strided for me to move forward. From there forward, he wins this class. But because of that length of hip, he has to go third here for me in this drive. Young lady we're going to conclude with is a bigger outlined hog. I know it looks like I'm contrasting because I got two bigger ones, a little more moderate one, and another big one. Feet and legs puts that one in the last hole there for us. Gets a little more tangled up. He's still stout featured and got some profile about him in terms of length of body and that type of thing. He just has to be sounder to move higher. Congratulations to these exhibitors.
Yeah, so the placings for that class were first going to Arden Muckerhide, second Caden Legier, third Braxton Evans, and fourth Cora McReynolds. Okay, so back to what I was saying. I'm on 4-H council for those of you who didn't. I haven't ever said that, so you'd have to know me to know that I'm on it. But so we changed all the lights here in the barn from those big halogen lights to LEDs.
Yep.
So they give off a little more light, and they're a lot cooler.
Yeah.
We added new fans all the way around the ring. I don't know. We've just changed some things about the fairgrounds that I think the wash rack's not near the swamp it normally is.
Yes.
I
did notice
that was a good.
Yeah. Yeah.
We can thank the fair board and specifically the commissioners for doing that. That was a big improvement this year, for sure. They relimed the goat barn and the horse barn, which hopefully. I don't know if you ever go down there, but
not really.
That place. So we've got our second class coming in: Ellie Grody, Madeline Shireman, and Evan Graves. Just 3 entries. Those hogs weigh between 255 and 285. How many more 10-year members do we have left? I still need Vincent.
Are they actually interviewing like all of the 10-year hog?
So my dad kind of bailed on me on doing the swine show this year. He had to work, so I was in desperate need of people, and most of the people that I would normally volunteer for doing this with me are working on hogs. So we're just rotating through a bunch of people to have some filler content.
Yeah.
I guess Evan. I could grab Evan.
Probably. I don't know how many more pigs he have. You caught me right after I'm done showing, so.
Perfect.
I'm just.
Perfect. Happy with how you did this year? Disappointed?
Not really, but I don't expect like too much. Like I try to go into it not expecting too much. I didn't get last place in it, so you know.
Hey, you know what? As long as you're not too disappointed with how you finished,
Yeah.
that's all right.
Yeah. It's
Everybody,
alright.
it's for fun.
Yep.
You're just here to. We're just all here for fun.
Yeah.
A pretty competitive class of Hampshire males, really. Got 2 of them here at the top that are sorted themselves pretty easily, but we'll see which one Chris likes.
A lot more Barrows than.
This class of Hampshires, to be honest with you, I know we're in the Marco Hog show, and I know early on I said for a barrow that the one's sound enough, and yet at the exact same time, we'll continue to try to emphasize structure amongst these Marco Hogs as much as possible when they allow us to do that and put the most totals together. Young man has that barrow for us here in this class. Very attractive from the side. He's still square coming and going. He's got the most correct structure within his skeleton. He is also the lightest boned one of these 3, to be very honest with you, out here in this particular drive. I just prefer his comfortable movement across the ring. I think that one's still good looking. I think he still has enough spread and width and muscularity. Then it gets closer, to be honest with you. The one I really want to pick in terms of the front 2/3 of his skeleton's the one coming right here. Simply put, though, he gets 2 to east and west for me on his hind leg to move into the second hole. We're going to go ahead and use the young lady on the far side in second. He's square in his skeleton. He's actually a longer necked hog when you view him. A little harder to analyze, not getting quite as good a look of him, but I think he's the second highest in totals, and I think he's the second most comfortable out here in his feet and legs. Young lady coming out in the 3rd hole here. That's one that when you stand here looking in the pin, when he came right out of the thing, I thought, well, there's my class winner. Then he starts getting sideways and going away from you. You can see the east and west movement. He's really too wide for me behind to use any higher. I like the front 2/3 the best. Can't use him because of his hind leg.
Results of Class 25 Hampshire Barrows. First would be Evan Graves. Second, Ellie Grody. And third, Madeline Shireman. We are now ready to show for champion Hampshire Barrow. Out of Class 24, first place was Arden Muckerhide, and out of Class 25, Evan Graves. They are showing for champion Hampshire Barrow.
I don't think he's going to take too long for these 2. He kind of made it evident in class which pair he kind of liked a little bit better, but I guess we'll listen to him on the mic here real quick. So accounting at Purdue, why?
Well, I always knew I wanted to do like business, and I knew I wanted to do more the financial side.
Hampshire hogs, and they're not easy to put together. So many times when we try to make these things a lot stouter in their feature, they get too quick and ripe into maturity, don't stay quite as accurate in their foot and leg placement. And yet there's times when, as we try to make the emphasis on feet and legs and keep looking, and boy, it's hard enough to get these things stout enough and to be competitive at those big level shows as well. So it's a hard breed to put together, and yet I think there's a pair of them that fit my kind really good. We're going to lead off with the young man that wins the last class for a champion, the young lady that wins first class for a reserve. Congratulations, both these exhibitors.
Champion Hampshire Barrow, Evan Graves. Reserve champion Arden Muckerhide. Congratulations.
Okay. Okay, so we have a single entry here in the Herefords with Leo Gauk. Oh, there's Lane. There's Jacob Kinker.
The holding area at this time. Spot bearers can come to the holding area.
Okay, back to accounting. So you like business, you like finance.
Yes, and I was thinking about doing more like of a finance major, but accounting, I mean, it covers like a lot of the business world, and it's more of like a challenging major, and I don't know, I wanted to do that instead of just a
Stay
regular
for your
finance. MBA? I don't think so, no.
Just a CPA.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see how it goes, but.
Let's see how much you like Lafayette.
Yeah. Oh, I already know I'm going to like Lafayette. I mean. Just don't know if I want to spend all that money.
Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah. Gotcha. Okay. Oh, getting rid of
Here in the Hereford Barrow division, one that covers basics. Meat and potato type barrow. Big bladed hog, has some width and body cavity to him. Still nice look about him. He'll look very representative there in the champion drive. Congratulations. Let's put our hands together for the young man.
Champion Hereford Barrow, Leo Gout. Congratulations, Leo.
Okay, we've got 3 Polands coming in next. The entries are Katie Gearhart, Jacob Kinker, who is just in the seat next to me, and Lance Wechter. We have most breeds represented, I think, this year. Trying to
Most
think.
what?
Most of the breeds are represented this year.
Yeah, I
mean,
think so. I haven't seen any Tams. Or Gilts, I didn't see any. I think
no Tam Gilts, but we got 4 Tam Barrows.
Oh, okay. It's usually a less popular breed.
Yeah.
They're kind of ugly, I think.
They're just up here, Red Yorks.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
just-
They're always skinny, though.
Yes,
I
yeah. It's just how the breed is, I
Yeah.
think.
Seems
They
like
have gotten better. They have gotten a lot better when you look at them on a
What's your-
national scale. I mean, a couple years ago, didn't Sarah win the whole
Actually, I
show
think
with
she
the
did.
Tamworth Gilt?
something like that.
She was.
Yeah.
I mean, I think she placed out at the World Pork Expo. I mean, she was like champion or reserve.
Yeah.
Tamworth. She was definitely in the top 5. I don't remember
I remember
exactly.
that.
That Tamworth Gilt was pretty special for a Tamworth female.
Oh, yeah.
I think she put a couple in the top 5 in the males
Really?
for Tam Barrows, if I can remember right. I'd have to ask her mom. I tried to get her to come on here too, or Mandy,
Yeah.
but neither of them were too interested in sitting in here and talking on the mic with me.
What's
3
your,
Poland Bears out here to pick for champion, and to be honest with you, there's a bigger outlined hog and one that's extremely wide and honestly pretty moderate out here. I believe that honestly, I'll be 60 here yet this month, and guys, we're making them too darn little. I mean, they are too little anymore, and we got to at some point put our foot down and say enough's enough, and that's where I stop in this one. This is going to be our champion. He's a bigger outline hog here that he gives up some width and mass and bone, but he's better in terms of his frame score. He's still extremely square and correct. I like that one's built and type a lot better than I do the second place bear the young man has. This one's presented to a T. I mean, Harry, he's did his work at the house. I'm sorry, young man, he's too small for me. The one we're going to conclude with is one that is a sharp, bold, bladed type of a hog, has some muscularity working down his top, not as correct in his structure as what we have in the 2 just above. Congratulations. Sorry for the young man in second, because he did do his homework. That one's too small.
Okay, so your champion, Poland China, goes to Jacob Kinker, reserve Lance Wechter, and third, Katie Gearhart. Yeah, I would say that the crossbred females have been, for the Gilt show, I think the crossbred females were the best breed I watched. If you want to, or the best, breed, I guess. Crossbred's really not a breed, but in terms of breed Gilts, some ones I think we're going to be watching out for coming into the Grand Drive. The Burt Gilt's really nice. She's small, but she's really nice. The Poland Gilt's really nice. Outside shot for maybe the land race to make the top 5.
Who has the land race?
A Barker.
Oh, yes.
Brody's.
Yeah.
Yeah, which he's also got the reserve cross, which
Yeah, that one was good.
I would expect
Yeah.
her to make the top 5 as well.
Young lady with the dark paisley shirt's going to have her class winner here within this drive. I like the skeleton size. I like his foot and bone. He's truly the square one, and he's built out here when he gets out on the move. He's still got a great big blade working out him. Has some muscularity working down his top. Things go north and south really good. I like that about him quite well. Second place wins another great big bladed hog. Honestly, he's a nickel wider through the center portion of his blade. Gets a little lower front, a little rounder hip than what I deem ideal here within this class. I actually still think he's got a more comfortable hind leg than we're going to go with in the young ladies here. One that's been outperformed here and out here within this drive, a little lower fronted and gets a little rounder. Once set his hind legs under him just a little bit as he travels across the ring. Congratulations to these exhibitors.
Okay, so the placings for the first class are spot males, Macy Kinker, then Wesley Hortzman, and third, Katie Gearhart. We have made another change in the co-pilot seat. I'm now joined by Olivia Wechter, who placed third last night in expert showmanship and actually got the nod to go ahead and participate in Tom Swain. So, pretty excited about it.
Yeah, I'm really excited. A little nervous, but it'll be fine. I'm excited.
Did you get all your pieces of livestock rounded up? Did you figure out where you're...
I think so for the most part. I'm close enough. I'll get it all figured out there today.
Okay, you're a 10-year swine member.
Mm-hmm.
Did you take any other projects?
The first couple of years of 4-H, I did baking and pottery, and then I realized I didn't have enough time for all that if I was going to really care about pigs as much as I do now. So.
I gotcha. Okay, so so I've asked the last several, everybody except for Blaine and Olivia Krieger. Do you have in the last 10 years one male or female that you loved? Like, very, very, she could be your best. She could be your best piece of livestock.
And yet I think that your eyes gravitate to one relatively easy. The tall-shouldered square pin hog got square in his skeleton, stronger in his pasture, and young man here closest to me, he's got our class winner. That one's really good, I think. I like that one quite well. Not to take anything away from the young man that's in yellow shirt out here. That's a heavy bone one that still has some width in his blade and squareness to his pin. He's not as correct in his foot and leg placement. Little toes in a little up front, kind of closes some there. He's a little more questionable about how he wants to actually use his hind leg and stabs him a little bit. But that's still a big backed one, still got a lot of muscle working him, tractive in front of his blade. I like that one, just needs to move a little better in comparison to our class winner.
Results of Class 29 spot bearers. First will second, Luke Schwarzentrooper. We're now ready to show for champion spot barrow. Coming from Class 28, first place, Macy Kinker. Coming out of Class 29, first place, Mason Morris. Showing for champion.
I gave the other ones because of the mic break, but did you? Oh, God.
Bring all the first and seconds out, and to be honest with you, the pair of first placements are really nice, and the champion reserve comes from that pair. I think one just sets himself apart and being more of everything. He's the easy layer champion. Right here, this young man's champion. The other class winner, young lady, has to be reserved. Congratulations, you, hon.
Congratulations on champion spot bearer to Mason Morris. Reserve champion spot bearer, Macy Kinker.
Okay. So you thought about it for a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you have a couple or maybe one?
Well, I mean, I don't know that any of. I mean, I took my senior pictures with one of my barrows last year. He was pretty calm, and I liked him. But honestly, this year I have a York gilt, and she is the sweetest thing. I don't know. She's my favorite by far. My last year, and she's my last pig, and I don't know. She's really sweet. She can follow me around with a cookie in my hand. She just smiles, and she's the cutest. But yeah, that's definitely my favorite pig.
So even though she's not the one that just won the crossbred female, she's
my
your favorite. Yeah.
Right,
see,
yeah.
See, that's what I wanted from somebody. Like, yeah, maybe she wasn't the best pig ever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't. Well, you remember a couple years ago. We had that spot gilt that Keith showed. We ran that thing everywhere.
Uh-huh.
And he hated her.
Oh, wow.
Terrible personality.
Uh-huh.
He's probably got one that was his favorite, but she was the best pig he ever showed. But,
Right.
I mean,
Right.
she was pretty special, but
Yep. I like my crossbred Barrow this year too, because just he's trained so well. He doesn't put up a fight ever, but I mean when it comes to cuteness, the York just beats him.
yeah, yeah. All right, hey, we're gonna while we're thinking here for a minute, we're gonna go ahead and run a commercial for everybody, and we'll be back here in a second.
Decatur County Fair livestock shows are proudly sponsored by The Beach Restaurant. Located on the west side of the square, The Beach Restaurant is the only veteran-owned business on the square and is fun for the whole family. Come on out and try one of their famous tenderloins and, on Fridays, sing your heart out at karaoke. The Beach Restaurant, proudly veteran-owned, family, and community-oriented.
Okay, so we've got 4 entries in the Tamworth division: Jake Graves, Landon Kinker, Olivia Evans, and Vincent Trenkamp. So, Olivia, you're going to go to Purdue for Ag Ed?
I'm going to Ivy Tech this year, and then I'll go to Purdue after that.
Okay.
Get my core classes out of the way here
Gotcha.
in Columbus, or there in Columbus, close to here. So.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're pretty close to Columbus.
Yeah, I'm
where
pretty
you're-
close. Yeah,
so
right. Save a little money,
Save a little bit of money and
then go to
ahead
Purdue.
Get ahead and get started, and then move up to
Yep.
Purdue. Fun.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I'm excited.
Is that what you kind of? How long have you wanted to be an ag teacher?
Well,
I
I've
guess?
always kind of wanted to be a teacher, and then I thought about ag business, and I was like, no, I don't really want to sit at a desk all day, every day. So, ag teacher it is.
Gotcha. Cool. Cool. So, is Chris going to grab the mic here for? Oh, he's going to grab. Let's see if Maddie. It looks like he's talking to Maddie to see if she can place this class at Tamworth males.
Oh.
That's a fun. Maddie isn't exactly the.
The pig showing type, is she?
Yeah,
She
I don't
doesn't-
know. I think the barn might be a little foreign territory for her, but
Yeah.
hey, she's been here and been around it, and I'm glad.
Oh, yeah.
Off with the young man with the yellow shirt. He's got the best one pretty simply out here for this particular jug. Hey, don't hug me, hug her. I don't know about you, but she's a lot better looking than I am. He's easily the best one. That's the best skeleton one of the 4. He's the one that has a great design about him and really nice type of a Tamworth Barrow. Young lady here in the blue plaidish type shirt is going to be second. I like that hog quite well as well. Another square belt one there, not quite as attractive as our class winner and champion there, but one that still puts a lot of squareness and design and a little stouter feature type of thing to go along with it. Third's going to be the one that's got a few black spots on it over here. Hip and hind leg what separates that one, and the 4th place Barrow here. That one's square in his makeup, especially as he goes away from you. Then the young man that we're going to conclude with. Great big hip tog that young man in light blue has. That thing's really wide behind. Gets too outside of himself as he goes away from you there in his hock placement.
Results of your Tamworth division: first place, Vincent Trenkamp; second, Olivia Evans; third, Landon Kinker; and fourth, Jake Graves. And thank you, queens and kings and princesses and all that, for your help. We're ready to start on the Yorkshire division. In the Tamworth division, then, Vincent Trenkamp was your champion Tamworth Barrow, and Olivia Evans was reserve champion Tamworth. So now we'll move into the Yorkshires. There are 3 Yorkshire classes,
So
3
there's
in the
3
first
Yorks.
division.
Okay, so our first class of Yorks, we have Elmer Rennekamp, Landon Kinker, and Knox Templeton. These barrows weigh between 190 and 238. Olivia, you hit the. How many jackpot shows do you guys go to this fall or this spring? Sorry.
Probably 5 or 6. I mean, maybe a few less than that. It was a few less this year since I just graduated. I didn't really have the time. My brother probably went to more than I did, but I just didn't have the
Gotcha.
time this year.
Yeah. Yeah, Lance and Tyler loaded up and went.
Oh, yeah. Well, Lance and
Left you
Klein usually.
Oh, Lance and Klein.
Lance and Klein and one of the marks would take them. Yeah.
Because of performance and style and balance about that particular hog. One that's longer from the tip of his nose to the tip of his tail. I don't know if anybody's ever seen a carcass going down the rail there at a packing plant. Length of carcass is still valuable. PIC type hogs that we all eat, boy, those things are not short-sighted. They're not necessarily all wide, but we do get a lot of value. I don't mind that loin or that I buy or the bacon or whatever. So that one fits the bill pretty good for me. Secondly, we're going to use the other Yorkshire there on the far side, young man with a blue plaid type and black or whatever colors it is. A big forearm type of hog that's stout in his feature. He's got a little more center body to him here today than the one that we're going to conclude with. Young man's bear that we're going to conclude with, he's a little flatter about his side. Obviously, he's got some stomach issues going on there. Got a great look about him. If his stomach was maybe feeling a little better, we could be a little better in terms of his body cavity to fill him out.
Results of Class 31, Yorkshire Barrows. First, Matt Templeton. Second, Landon Kinker. And third, Elmer Rennekamp. Now ready to judge Class 32, Yorkshire Barrows. You can start working the Class 34 crossbred Barrows.
All right, so we're getting ready to do Class 32 of Yorkshire males. We have 3 entries: Brady Rubel, Henry Kinker, and Sarah Fogg. So actually, Olivia had to go get her crossbred male ready, who's in the last class. So we were joined by last year's Miss Decatur County and 10-year 4-H member and 10-year swine member, Ellie Acra. Ellie, why are you? So you're here watching 3 cousins?
Yep, I've got 3 cousins. So
3
Lance
cousins.
Snobby, 10-year 4-H'er.
He was on already.
Yep, and then Cora McReynolds. It was her first year in 4-H, and she
one.
did really well.
Yeah.
We were really impressed with her.
Good.
And then I've got one more cousin, Grace Denny, to come.
Okay.
But we're never the winners, so you probably don't hear her name. It's
Oh,
just
you
for
always.
fun.
I announce everybody that I announce
you
the whole
announce
placing.
everyone. There we go.
Top 2. No.
So how's it been going today, do you think?
Chris Danner is doing. I think he's doing a really good job. Actually, he's going to the mic right now.
This young man right here closest to me, he's got our class winner here, presented to a T, but that's the most totals hog out here. He's square about his design. He's got an excellent look. He comes at you pretty square and goes away from you that way. He has the most muscularity working with any skeleton. He's big about through the center portion of his blade. He has some width of stifle and hip about him. He's a really nice bear. If we stay consistent with type and kinds of structure, this one needs to be second. He's a little stronger on both ends of his skeleton. He's still got a great big forearm about him. He looks like he's a little looser stooled as well, not quite as full and fleshy as what we maybe like to see, but in terms of structural correctness, that's a good pasture and big hind-legged type of a bear that you appreciate. Young lady's pig is wanting to break down just a little bit. Honestly, know how he feels. I mean, as I've got some hip and knee issues, that one's going to have those issues as he continues to get heavier. I need to lose a lot of weight or get my structure a lot better, so I understand fully with this one. He needs to be stronger pasture, and therefore allow him to get out here and go a little bit easier. That's a big-bladed, big center type of hog. Just need to fix his structure to move him up.
All right, your placings for Class 32 Yorkshire males. First, Brady Rubel. Second, Henry Kinker. And third, Sarah Fogg. So we're going to enter our last class. Blaine Wagner and Miley Wilkeson. Those bears weigh 280 and 299. $280 and $299. Yeah, big boys. Yeah, we've had some pretty nice bears already come through the ring, but I definitely think the crossbreds are going to bring that to a whole different level of
Have you
quality.
had a preference today of?
Like breed-wise?
Yeah, breed-wise, who's been
I hear, and yet one sets himself apart in terms of just being pure show hog. Tall to the point of his shoulder, he's square about the base of his chest, has a big forearm, some muscularity working down his top. I like the length of levelness to his hip, especially for a Yorkshire hog. hind leg works pretty darn good in this one here. The young lady's got her class winner quite handily. The young man's going to go second, and that's not because he's just two out here. This is still a good bear. That's a great big forearm and a big back working within a really athletic type of a hog. He's not as sharp and good looking about the front third of his skeleton as their class winner, but a very darn nice one here to go in the second hole. Congratulations, both these exhibitors.
First place.
First place goes to Miley Wilkinson, and second to Blaine Wagner. So we're going to bring back in the class winners for the Yorkshires. We got Knox Templeton out of Class 1, Brady Rubel out of Class 2, and Miley Wilkinson out of Class 3. And those will vie for champion Yorkshire male. And then we will bring the second place in and show that one for the reserve. We are, Mr. Chris Danner isn't giving me a whole lot of time to talk between class coming in and class getting talked, so he's running through these things pretty quickly here this afternoon, which is good that he's decisive and he knows what he wants, but I think he's taking an appropriate amount of time for what the class deems needs looked at to know how he's going to place him.
I wasn't here for showmanship last night. Do you know who won showmanship?
So the champion was Landon Schwartzentruber, and reserve was Maddie Shireman.
I like to share my stories as I go through the day, because when you go up and talk to people, people want to say, what are they talking about? So I've traveled a lot of Indiana. I was a hog buyer for Swift and Company, so that little hole that sits down by the creek that used to flood that, what they called buying station, I filled in there before. And they said Wilkerson is the last name. I hardly ever hear a name, to be honest with you. I knew her grandpa. And any of you knew Howard. He was a confident gentleman and said he could beat anybody, including any pacer, at shooting free throws. And I asked her, can you shoot as good as him? The neat thing is, this little 16-year-old girl, I think, inherited his confidence. And let's put our hands together for a young person that actually has confidence. She also has the best one out here. He's champion Yorkshire.
Champion Yorkshire bearer is Miley Wilkinson. Blaine Wagner, you're eligible to show for reserve. Congratulations, Miley.
We still have three Yorkshire bears out here, and I think a couple of them are really, really nice. And yet, if we're going to keep types and kinds together and put totals to the plus side of things, when we brought that second place out here, he wasn't as good looking as the first bear, and I call him a really good functional type of a bear. He doesn't have the pizzazz that our champion had in front of his blade, and I really appreciate him. But the one that most follows the types, this young man's second class winner. Congratulations.
Reserve champion Yorkshire bearer is Brady Rubel. Congratulations. We're ready to move into the crossbred division.
All right, so your champion crossbred, or your champion Yorkshire male goes to Melina, and your reserve goes to Brady Rubel. So we're going to get ready to start the crossbreds. It looks like she's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 classes of crossbred males. We're going to start out in Class 1 with the Barrows weighing 219 to 232. We got 3 entries: Grace Denny, Kylie Best, and Brody Barker. So I've made a change in the co-pilot seat for another time today. So we're joined by Mike Barker, who is a Decatur County 4-H fair celebrity. He won the sheep show a few times. I think he won the bear show a few times. He might have won the steer show a few times.
Yeah, I had the Grand Champ Bear in 1992, Trev. But that was the old barns and stuff. That was Good times.
That was before we had this big, nice barn that
Exactly.
I'll tell you what, it does feel better in here today than it has in the last couple years.
It has. I think the shower today helped out a little bit, gets the humidity down a little bit.
Yeah.
And hopefully it'll be like that tomorrow for our sheep show.
Yeah, we've got. Hey, who's doing the sheep show? Have you heard? Who's on the mic?
Darren Klaus is going to be our judge for tomorrow.
Who's going to do it for?
Matt Morse is going to do our commentating.
Oh, awesome. Awesome.
Yep.
Last winner there. That one wins pretty handily. Real good looking hog that has some width and squareness, some youthfulness about his appearance here. He's square pinned hog that's square and spread at top side of his blade. Real nice look about him. I think he's also the most comfortable out here of the top pair of hogs. We're going to go second with the young lady here to my left. That one's got a great big foot and bone working in him. Really got some spread in terms of opened up at the his shoulder and forerib. Great big upper hip and down into his lower stifle there. I'd like to reconstruct him and make him a little more inside of himself as he goes away compared to our class winner. The one that's comfortable and runs around out here, not quite as stylish, not quite as opened up and as massive as we have the other two. He's not quite as fresh in his appearance comparatively as well. Congratulations, these three exhibitors.
Okay, so from Class 1, Brody Barker wins it, Kylie Best in second, and Grace Denny in third. Mike, that's a good feeling. That's a nephew.
Yes, it is.
It's a good feeling.
He'll be a lot easier to live with tonight.
Everybody, winning makes everything a lot better.
Yes,
Just
it
makes
does.
everything a little more palatable. But so we're going to enter Class 2 with Parker Morris, Colt Morris, and Benjamin Bonner.
Oh, wow.
Two Morris boys.
Yes. Be very challenging.
Well, last night we had them both in showmanship.
Yes.
That can't be awesome for a parent, right?
Correct. Yeah. 'Cause you know one's going to be happy and one's not.
Yeah. Well, and somebody gets some bragging rights, right?
Exactly.
You and Matt would never have had that.
Oh, not a bit. We never did.
Never fought. You were
Exactly. Tried to fight who's going to show the best animal all the time.
Okie dokie. I don't know. What do you've been watching from the exterior of the ring most of the day? How do you think Mr. Danner's doing here this afternoon?
He's done a nice job, and I like how he talks to the audience out there, and gets them involved, telling them exactly what he's doing and what he was and all that. I think he's doing a nice job.
He's moved at a brisk pace, but I don't think it's he's seen every hog that he needs to see.
Yes, I agree with you. I mean, he's giving everybody the chance to show every view of the pig.
Yes. Yep. And he's even on the ones that he likes a lot, he's still critiqued them a little bit, like where none of them are perfect.
Correct.
Or at least we haven't found one today.
Yeah, there you go.
We haven't found one today. So no. It looks like he's actually taken a decent amount of time with this class, more than he has in some classes of three.
I always feel like the crossbreds, he starts slowing down a little bit when it gets about this weight.
Yeah, I think, once you clip 250, which that'll be actually the next class, I think that's when the heat really starts to turn up a little bit,
yep.
and
I agree.
that's when you really get a.
I think the families that are really serious about it, they know what class they really need to be in. They want to have a pretty good chance.
Yeah.
The total better out here for me is the bigger, taller boy in the light blue shirts. Got the totals better here within this class. One that's got an extremely good look in the front third of his skeleton. I think he's the squarest, and he's built out here within this particular drive. He's not as stout and durable as our second place hog in terms of foot and bone, but I think he does put the most positives together. We're going to go with the predominant white hog in the second hole here. Don't see his right rear being quite as square as what we have in our class winner, but one that I appreciate really being stout featured and heavy duty. Still got a good look, taller shoulder than our third place hog as well. One that comes in third is a great big bladed hog that's got a great big center cage working within him. He still has some back shape and muscularity. Obviously, he's fairly sound the way he trots around out here.
Okay, so you're placing for Class 35. First place, Parker Morris. Second place, Colt Morris. Third place, Benjamin Bonner. We've got Class 3 of crossbred males coming in the ring. They weigh from 251 to 261. You got Cletus Rennekamp, Klein Lowe, Jada Galt, Casey Barker, and Grady Harrison. Here we go. We got a couple of them in here that I've been watching pretty close here in the back of the barn.
Yeah,
all
I agree.
week that are
This is going to start. These next
pretty nice males.
three
Pretty
classes
nice
are
male
going to be
hogs.
tough.
Yeah, these next 3 classes, I've seen quite a few hogs, and they're pretty stout.
Yes.
They're pretty loaded.
Of course, I love how the 4-H is back in the barn, each of them. They're really competitive. They're saying, no, my hog's better than yours. I just love that out of each other. But they're at the end of the day, they're all friends.
Yeah, and I do feel a little bit of camaraderie back there. It's, hey, I know my pig's good, and I know your pig's good, and we can still be friends even though it's one man's opinion on one day.
Yep, exactly. And they know that.
Yeah. And I like that everybody's competitive.
Yes, I do too. In about every species, they're the same way, you know, in every one of them.
It's awesome. Did you hear the steer number check-in yesterday?
No, I did not.
I heard it was in the 60s.
Was it? Okay.
That's great. That's awesome.
It is.
When was the last time you heard the steers that high?
Hey, it's been a while. I think it's been a while, and I know that they say the cattle number is up this year from last year, and I thought it wasn't, but it is, and that's awesome,
Yeah.
The sheep's about the same as last year. It's even across the board from the ewes and the wethers. He's checking them all over pretty hard out there in the ring.
Yeah, he might. You think he'll pin, or do you think he's just going to place them while in the ring? With 5 of them.
I think he's probably going to leave them all out. He hasn't done a lot, pin them and stuff. I don't feel, in class wise.
I agree.
I think he'll probably just place. I don't think he'll be pinning them. That's my opinion.
Yeah. None of the classes have been too big that you need to
No.
get a better look at one.
Correct.
And the ring is big enough where 5 or 6 of them, you can still get them out and strut them around. And
I like having these small classes. I feel like if you have more than 5, 6, 7, it's hard to see them.
yeah, you could get an unfair look.
Correct.
Or not an unfair look, but not a fair chance.
You can see the whole pig.
Right.
It's kind of this size of class.
Yeah.
You can move that pig pretty well to the judge what he wants to see the view.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not like those big classes where you've got to pin 5 or 6 of them.
Yes.
So you can actually see.
Correct. And the old pigs
The
rub
top-
up against each other. You
the
can't.
top of the class. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and like last night in showmanship where, man, there were some times where the hogs were on top of each other.
Yes.
On top of each other.
And I know the showmen were getting frustrated, and I think I got one of my nephews one of them.
Yeah. Yeah. Brody wasn't the happiest camper, but
When he came back for finals.
no. It's okay. Man, Mr. Danner is contemplating his decisions right now.
Yes, he is. He's studying them hard. And like we said, at this weight and crossbreds on, he's going to study them pretty hard.
Yeah, he's gonna have some choices to make here this afternoon. I'll tell you what, there's something, and maybe I'll make a comment after. Looks like Chris is going to the mic.
Really good class here, and I want to try to make sure that I feel 100% accurate within myself. To be honest with you, when I lay my head on the pillow at night, I want to make sure that I get all these kids as fair as shake and evaluated them. To be honest with you, I pray at the beginning of every show because I want to make sure that I ask for his wisdom to, one, be able to talk them right, because not everybody's going to agree with me. About 90% of the time, honestly, the group is not going to agree with the judge. Had a guy that was really wise, said 10% of the time the judge gets it right. And the reason is because less than 10% of the time there's one hog that had to win the whole show, that there was truly one. And it took me about 5 years to truly think about that and get it figured out. And then I judged to stay fair that there was one. And from then on, it made my job easier because I realized most of the time I'm going to be wrong amongst everybody around here. So with that being said, though, I got up on top of these hogs, those that have stood in the center of the ring. It's hard to evaluate all black ones. And then you take some of these sharp black colored ones, put on this dark mulch here, and it makes it harder to evaluate feet and legs occasionally too. When we put totals together in terms of I think the hogs need to remain youthful, and I think that, yeah, we need hogs that are heavy structured, and I tried to evaluate that. There's no one person that's ever smart enough to guess age and fresh and this, that, and the other. There's a lot of great feeders out here. So literally, it comes down to a pair of them. That was the black and the belted ones were 1 and 2 for me. And yet, when we get into them, there was one more durable, and yet he's still a little prettier up front. He's a little harder to analyze because he is all black, but he's going to be our class winner. The belted hog that comes in second, not quite as much width in his dew claws. He tracks right away from you, but right in the center portion of his rib is a little bit of an advantage point. This hog's not as heavy boned out of his front leg. He's not quite as wide in his dew claw set going away. I really like that barrow as well, though. Yeah, I think he might be a nickel fresher right through his face, to be very honest with you, but I don't think that it's a big enough difference here for this judge to actually say what's what and what's not. The blue one on the far side, I'm sorry, young man, that one for me needs to be deeper crotched. He gets too shallow in the bottom of his crotch there, gets too flat from his tail down to his hock. He doesn't have any muscle that goes behind that point. And there, there's a term that we use at the house that I'm not going to use on the microphone, but he has that for me. Front 2/3 of that one can move higher, but that's where we need to change him and move him up. The next one's going to be the meat and potatoes other blue hog out here. Not quite as eye appealing in terms of freshness and his overall presentation, but he covers basics. That's a square bill, good built one type of thing. I like that about him. The belted one is leaving the ring there. Another really good barrow, a little lighter pigmented, being clipped late there, but he's still athletic and good. Congratulations, all these exhibitors. Let's put our hands together and applaud them, please.
All right, so the placing for Class 36 crossbred males: first, Grady Harrison; second, Casey Barker; third, Klein Lowe; fourth, Cletus Rennekamp; and fifth, Jada Galt. That was actually the question I was getting ready to ask you before he went to the mic. Was I feel like that all black hog is getting more popular recently.
You know,
and maybe not a trendy pick, but not a taboo pick either to win a class.
Right. And you know, I think across the board, black pig, good pig, and I think across the board, I think all species, your steered stuff. I think you got to have that sometimes, that black animal. I think it's coming across, the board and black.
Yep.
But I got a question, Trev.
Yep.
Is this probably one of the first years your dad hasn't been at the pig show?
Since they've doing it, been at the pig show, period. My dad hadn't missed very many hog shows in the last 25 years.
That's what I was wondering. I wanted to ask you that.
My first year was 05, so I know from 05 till now he had this is the first time he's missed since 05.
And I know he showed in 4-H when I was there and all that stuff.
And we came to I remember coming to the show because he was on the fair board, and we always came to the show just to watch, just to go and watch.
It's different with him not being here.
It is. Could you imagine my reaction when he told me, "Hey, I'm not going to be there to help you announce," and I was like,
"Oh, I bet."
What?
Exactly. That's why when you told me that earlier, I thought, "Whoa, really?"
Oh, he really is.
He's a hog man.
He is a hog man, and he enjoys it. He really does enjoy it.
He's a good guy.
Holy cow! Talk about a group that is presented well, and skin and hair looks real good on most of these pieces of livestock in the ring. The white is white, and the black is black, and man, these things are nice.
Yeah.
So you've got 5 in this class: Matty Shireman, Mason Morris, Landon Schwarzentrooper, Ian Amrine, and Braxton Evans. These weigh from 265 to 270.
And these ewes, I will say, going back, these 5 showmen that's out here, these are big hitters usually. These kids usually have good ones. These are big hitters, and they know what class to put them in.
And it looks like he actually did go ahead and give them their placings. So we've got Ian Amrine in 5, Mason in 4, and Matty in 3. So he's driving the Schwarzentrooper hog and the Evans hog to figure out which one of these two that he thinks is the best of the two. Yeah, definitely these last three classes has got the heavy.
Oh, yes.
They got the smoke. They
Yes,
definitely
they
have
do.
some smoke.
I thought in that York deal, I thought that was a pretty cool deal what he said about Howard Wilkerson, and
Yeah.
his granddaughter, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
It's hard to believe Howard's gone. He was always known for his hogs.
Oh, yeah. Well, he was one of the reasons we've got the purebred show now.
Yes.
I know I changed my format. Is this last class of the day? One more? Doesn't matter. It's my show, I guess, this time. And yet this pair hit me pretty hard coming out of the gate. And to be honest with you, I want to just look at them so I get this right in my mind. And the squarest one, clear to the foot, doesn't turn his feet anywhere. I read him the most youthful one that hit me extremely, extremely hard coming out of the gate. I think he's good looking. I think he's bold in his forearm. I think his back shape is ideal. He's not dead level hip, but that's the reason his hind leg works so stinking good. Literally the squarest one at his foot, doesn't want to roll his foot at all. Young man right here has got our class winner. The reason I take my time is because, to be honest with you, when you're driving one as good as the one in second, if you don't win, you're upset. And I wanted to make sure I analyze them fully. So where I read this hog, I don't see him with quite as much punch right in the center portion of his rib. I bet if we take both these Barrows back here on the concrete, this one's not as square at his foot. He wants to turn these out, pressurize these outside rear feet ever so slightly. Really nice pair of Barrows. Congratulations, both of them. They needed to be analyzed by themselves. This one came in, literally I told her she was on candid camera. I did break a smile. Got another one for me? There you go. You know how much prettier you are when those sides of your lips go up? I'm being honest. Those boys will like you more. She's saying, shut up, Judge. Big-footed, stout-bladed, or stout bone, big-bladed, got muscle. I actually thought, oh, we've got a nice place to start. And then these bloated ones come in. This is a very, very nice barra. Congratulations with him. You got amongst the buzzsaw within that tree pair up top of you. Nice barra, hun. Next one coming out is another really good one. He's not as stout about his foot and bone work, gets a little softer about his pattern. That's not overly concerning. He gets flatter right in the center portion of his blade compared to the third place pig. This one's very shapely, down his back and into his hip. I like that quite well. The next one coming out here, he gets a little more challenged in terms of vertical height, the length of body for me. He doesn't have quite the balance that we have in the Barrows just ahead. Still a good place barra here at the county fair. Fifth hole, really nice class. Let's put our hands together and congratulate these exhibitors.
Results.
All right, the results of that class are first place Braxton Evans, second place Landon Schwartzentruber, third Maddie Shireman, fourth Mason Morris, and fifth Ian Amrine. We're going to bring in our very last class, crossbred males. There's 4 entries: Klein Lowe, Michael Kolpinski, Olivia Wechter, and Miley Wilkeson. Those barrows are from 283 to 302. And now you know why Mike and I were talking about that being, the heat just keeps getting hotter. It just keeps getting hotter. And now you've got this last class of males that are probably at their peak. Some of them maybe just over, but most of these boys are right at the top of where they need to be.
Oh yeah, you can just tell. I mean, today's their day.
Yeah, there is no other day than today.
You could just tell from last class to this class. This class, this is it.
These are the men. These are the men in the boys' ring.
Yep.
Yeah, them things are big and blown up and got their
big
fill
bone.
right. Big boned and big backed and big square hips on them boys.
Yeah.
You think he pins these, or you think he just lets everybody admire some of these bigger crossbred males?
He's going to leave them out. I think that last class, there's reasons why he did what he did.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens in the champion drive.
Yep. No. I'll tell you what. What time is it? 1:50. He's flying. 1:50.
Oh, wow.
So he took an hour and change for the Gilts, and now he's going to take an hour and a quarter for the Barrows, an hour and 30 for the Barrows. So, yeah.
What time is the Grand Champion?
I think Tyler said we're going to take a little bit of a break after this for the Grand Drive, but I would say it'd be just enough time to get some of these big crossbred males some water.
Cool
down a little bit. And I hope we're not waiting until 5 o'clock. That's a 3-hour break.
Yeah, and I think we'd lose part of our crowd.
Yeah, which the crowd for the show is
Still here.
Another class that he's taken some time really sorting through.
Yes.
Four really good Barrows, and I don't know where their age is at, and I hope I don't ruin anything for anybody. And I'll just be honest with you, it doesn't matter from that standpoint. I got to pick them how I like them and try to stay as consistent as I can. And when I did a national level show once, they asked me what I liked, and I said the same thing I did 20 years ago. I like them tall shouldered, good looking, square built, and sound. I mean, 20 years ago, they could be skinny like I was as a kid, and not burly like I am, or fat like I am today. But I mean, we need to pack as many tangibles onto that as we can, but they still got to be tall shouldered, good looking, square built, and sound. And when we get out here, the angles read really, really fun. And he's very sharp fronted. This black-headed, white-bodied one's got our class winner. His angles and freshness, way it goes across there on his comfort level is very, very good. He's sharper fronted and a little more comfortable out of his front end than the bulky one that we're having here in second, the Blue Hawk. This one's forearms as big as I've seen today. That thing's got we could go have the biggest stake right in the center of that one's top if you literally want to put it there. I mean, that thing is broad and dense and level there. I'd like to sharpen him up front, freshen him up just a little bit to move him higher. Gets close. This pair of good Barrows here we have in this pair of girls here. This one here is going to be third right in front of me. He gets a little flatter right in his back for me. He still covers basics. That hog's still a long-strided hog. I don't read his angulation as good as our class winner. I'd like to change that back line just a little bit to move him up. Young lady is going to conclude in fourth. Of this four, it's kind of hard to say that he's the least dense one in terms of foot and bone, but he is of this trio or four Barrows. But his biggest thing is I want to see him just take a more athletic stride out of his back end. He kind of wants to tuck his tail head underneath of him, tuck his hind legs under him just a little bit. It's going to be a really fun champion drive. I will be honest, this has surprised me a little bit at the quality that we've seen here at the tail end of this thing. Congratulations, you're fair and all these exhibitors. Let's put our hands together, please.
Results of Class 38.
All right, so your winner of that class was Klein Lowe, second Michael Kopinski, third Miley Wilkeson, and fourth Olivia Wechter. So we're going to bring in all of our class winners, starting with Brody Barker out of the first class, Parker Morris out of the second, Grady Harrison out of the third, Braxton Evans out of the fifth, and and Klein Lowe out of the fifth.
Fifth class.
Fifth class. Sorry. You notice they're all black.
Yeah.
Klein's is coming in.
Yep.
Tegan's giving some assistance over there.
Oh, yeah.
Those are pretty good
Pretty good crossbreds.
crossbred males. 5 pretty good crossbred males out there. Pretty good set of them. And they all kind of look the same.
They do. I will say, my nephew Brody, he's doing a nice job today.
Yeah. Chris is thinking. Here we go.
Well, this has been fun. Somebody said, I talked almost the whole way here, and honestly, I talked to a guy from Colorado, and he said, you got to go, I said, I get to go judge a county fair, and he goes, you got to go judge county fair today, and I said, no, I get to. Because I don't care that I'm 60 and maybe judged a few more places, and we get a lot of young guys. To be honest with you, I love the opportunity. I probably don't work with the youth as much, but I like to say little things and give kids a rough time. And the one little girl probably wish I'd shut my mouth, and that's okay. You know, this whole business, I met my wife through 4-H, to be honest with you, or through livestock. So, I mean, you don't know what we're going to do, who's your best friends, and that type of thing. So with that being the case, I think that I get to because one is I got blessed today because of the opportunity to come here. And thank you to your staff. This is more of a grand champion drive type of thing, but I don't take this lightly. And there's nobody, I won't talk about throwing things or being correct after you get done because I maybe wasn't always that perfect parent because emotions do get high. I would only tell you that this is expensive, and yet it's still the best way we can raise our kids, in my opinion. There's one that simply, when he came into his class, he hit me as hard as anything. I told you earlier, if you was here through the whole thing, that I'm a reactionary. I married that reactionary person. I'm going to stay with this one here that I like extremely well. He's extremely, extremely good. Where his real advantages points for me is, one, he's very mobile, square, and muscular. I actually think he's the most youthful of the ones I like the best. Young man out of that next last class has our champion.
Champion crossbred bear be Braxton Evans. Landon Schwarzentrooper can bring his second place pig out to show for reserve champion crossbred bear. Congratulations to Braxton Evans on champion crossbred barrel.
Bring in that second place bear, and I talked about how good that class was, and I actually said when we concluded right after that to Merrill that we had a really good class. And honestly, the class before that, there was a pair of bears that I liked extremely, extremely well. And so I'm going to tell you the quality runs high and it runs deep here within your county fair. The one I like second best came out of the last class. He'll be reserved.
Congratulations to Klein Lowe on reserve champion crossbred barrel.
All righty, Mike. So we've got our champion in Braxton Evans and reserve in Klein Lowe. So we're going to take about a 30-minute break, and we'll be back for the champion drive. Are you going to try to be here?
Hope the guys will get their pigs all cooled down and ready to go, and we'll see a good grand drive.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mike.